Hello there guys, it is me Babiel, and we are back here with another video. In the last video, we decided to examine and meet the major planetary bodies, as seen here, of the world of Lineaos. So for a brief rundown, we have Apollo, Ptolemy and its satellite Mobius, Aries and Cygnus, we have Taurus and its satellite Capricorn, Grammy, Theos and its satellite Carpus, and finally Gamma. Also in the last video, we discussed their placement and their movements within the Linnean cosmological model, and they reside within the first layer of the atmosphere, Cheilusia, aka the firmament and the inner cosmos. But for today's video, we're going to be going behind the scenes. And we're going to be talking about what inspired the names of these celestial spheres. Where did they come from, and what do they mean? And that is what we're going to do today. So without further ado, let's go behind the scenes and find out what inspired the names of these planetary bodies. Our first sphere is that of Apollo. For those of you who are fans of Greek mythology, you all know who Apollo is. Apollo is the Greek god of poetry, music, archery, and the sun. In some myths, Apollo is the one who has the chariot which drives the sun all throughout the earth, similar to Helios, another sun god from Greek myth. Personally, I think its orange color actually is fitting for this sun god. Next, we have the sphere of Ptolemy. This sphere is named after a famous scientist known as Claudius Ptolemy, aka just Ptolemy. He was a 2nd century mathematician and astronomer from the land of Alexandria, and he is a famous author of a work known as the Almagest, which is about the stars, the planets, and astrology. Ptolemy was also a believer in geocentrism, the idea that the Earth is in the center of the solar system and the cosmos itself. That is why the geocentric model is also known as the Ptolemaic system or Ptolemaic universe. Orbiting around Ptolemy, we have its satellite, Mobius. This small moon has been named after August Ferdinand Mobius, an 18th century German mathematician and astronomer. Mobius is the creator of the Mobius function, which is a multiplicative function within number theory. And this is its Wikipedia article. There's a lot of information on this. Too much math. I really don't like math. You can read it yourself if you're interested. And to be honest, the Mobius function basically was the original inspiration behind the sphere. But I think that the mathematician who created the function deserves having a seat on the sphere as its inspiration. Because when I was creating the spheres, I just chose names that sounded cool. And, naming it after a function kind of doesn't seem right to me. So I think that it is more fitting to be named after August Ferdinand Mobius himself. What do you guys think? Next, we have the Crimson Sphere of Aries. Yet again, another reference to Greek mythology. And we all know who he is. Ares, the Greek god of war. Or, within the Roman context, his name was Mars, which is where the red planet's name comes from. To be honest with you, the reason why I chose red for the sphere is it perfectly matches Ares and personifies his bloodlust for conquering and violence itself. Next, we have the sphere of Cygnus. This sphere is named after the constellation of the same name, and it is often depicted as being in the shape of a swan. So Cygnus the swan. Now we move on to the sphere of Taurus. Judging by its name, astrology fans may think that it's named after Taurus the bull, the horoscope. But this is a mistake. In fact, the name Taurus, the bull, I might ascribe to a creature or a character for this world building project. So the sphere is not named after the horoscope in astrology, but something else. Going back to mathematics, the name Taurus comes from the term by the same name, which means a geometric shape created by rotating a circle in a 3D space around an axis coplanar with the circle, basically forming the shape of a donut. Now one may be a bit flabbergasted, but wait a minute. The sphere of Taurus is a sphere. It's a perfectly round ball, not a donut. So then again, this is an example similar to Mobius. The name sounded cool, but I didn't give it much thought. But mathematics has played a very big role in the development of this world-building project, so you can understand that. And there is a justification upon further thought of why I chose this name. I decided to add a bit of lore to this mysterious sphere. You see, even though the sphere is, well, a ball, sometimes when it orbits, it changes shape and fluctuates into the shape of a donut, similar to the torus mathematical term and model. By this logic, Taurus is the strangest out of the many major spheres that lay within the Lineaean cosmos. Moving on to its moon, Capricorn. Now, contrast to Taurus, this sphere is named after a horoscope by the same name, Capricorn, aka the sea goat or sea ram. Now we're on to the sphere of Grammy, which is named after the Greek word for line, and the reason for this is because, as you see, its surface is covered with many intersecting lines of different sizes, so it's quite fitting for this world. Now we're on to Theos. This sphere is kind of a parody of the name Theon of Alexandria. This man was a scholar and mathematician who also wrote commentaries on Ptolemy, who we discussed earlier. He also was the father of the very famous Hypatia of Alexandria, considered by many to be the first female mathematician. We now move on to its moon, Carpus. This sphere itself is named after Carpus of Antioch, an ancient Greek mathematician who wrote on astronomy and geometry. Now, when trying to find pictures of this ancient mathematician, pictures of this man came up, who I believed was Carpus of Antioch. But this person was Saint Carpus the Apostle, who I thought was the same person as Carpus of Antioch. But I was wrong, because back then I looked up, there were quite a few people with the name Carpus, and this was not Carpus the mathematician. This guy was a saint, and he was a follower of the Apostle Paul. So I gotta say, that was kind of confusing. But now let's end our celestial tour with the sphere of Gamma. Gamma receives its name from the Greek letter or symbol known as gamma. As I've said before, mathematics has played a key role in the development of this project, including Greek symbols. And that, my friends, ends our little cosmic tour behind the meanings and names of the major planetary bodies. My naming conventions, I gotta say, are pretty interesting. We have quite a variety, from ancient gods to mathematicians to Greek symbols and horoscopes. You can tell that I have a pretty good taste when it comes to naming my planetary bodies. But I would like to know, what do you guys think of the names of my spheres? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in this world building project, please visit my website in the description below. And also, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And if you haven't already, please watch my previous video, which discusses these spheres in further detail. I hope you all enjoyed, and have a nice day. Bye!